it was a divine plan, and it just happened. My husband was showing me a TV program. It was about a lady who takes care of 700 cats. When I saw her dedication, I felt that this is something I would love to do. And so I told my husband that if I could buy a small patch of land anywhere in California, I would love to do that. I named them Ernie and Elmo. They look like Ernie and Elmo. And their feet are so cute. They look like they're wearing salwars and running around. We had no children here. We don't want to breed them. But this boy came and the girl started having babies. What did you do? I sought the advice of my guru because I had never had experience around animals. So I wasn't sure whether I was being too idealistic, which is my nature. I was hoping that I could do what I was dreaming of doing. I got encouragement and blessings from my guru, and she's the one who helped us choose this property. The girls, when they are spent after 2 years of laying 300 eggs a year, they are either gassed to death, but if they don't want to waste money on gassing them, they'll just throw them in trash bins. The ones that are at the bottom will die of suffocation right away. The ones who are on the top will live for 2 or 3 weeks and die slowly from starvation and dehydration. So the lucky girls have that fate, and the unlucky boys get ground alive. So that is what we do by creating a demand for eggs.
I'm here with my family to celebrate my birthday and my daughter's birthday. We know Madhulika PreetiRang Sanctuary for many years now. When we wanted to do something different this year for our birthday, I approached Madhulika ji and mentioned that how about planting trees like they did before in the other event. We are here to celebrate our birthday in this beautiful sanctuary, planting trees, surrounded by beautiful animals around.
The mission of PreetiRang Sanctuary is to provide a refuge for animals that have been rescued from the animal agriculture industry. The more important part of our objective is to provide information to people who visit and via social media regarding the lives of these animals, what they're typically treated as in a factory farming setting, to get them to know the animals and to encourage them to come visit and have a good time with the animals here. You can tell if someone's kind by looking in their eyes.
Hi.
Look in his eyes.
Hi.
See?
Hi.
He looks kind, doesn't he? He's kind.
Very excited, huh? I had designed my life in a very Hindu fashion, which means the first 25 years we are students, we learn a lot, whatever we can learn, develop our skills and talents. And then the next 25 years, if we want, we can live as householders. As I was nearing my age of 50, it was time to start looking into the next phase of my life. Now that we have moved here, and now that I'm living among these animals and enjoying the beauty of nature, I find it very difficult to go back to the cities. The city where I was raised, Kolkata, sounds kind of noisy to me. The transition was tough, but I'm very happy. I wouldn't change anything in my life.
I'm here today with a student organization from UC Davis called PEACE. It stands for People for the Elimination of Animal Cruelty Through Education. We do outreach with students and people around Davis, teaching them about animal rights and veganism and making the connections between that and the environment and other social justice issues.
It's important for people to visit animal sanctuaries just to understand that animals have personalities, that they're really similar to the animals that we've grown up with in our home. And so it's good to have that compassion for them and understand who they are.
just kind of hold them like this and squeeze them just a little bit,
Okay.
makes them feel comfortable, and they'll calm down.
Okay.
We lead organized tours so people can get an up-close experience with animals. Actually look them in the eyes, touch them, hug them, get an opportunity to interact with them for an extended period of time so that they can really get the experience of understanding that these animals are very much like we are.
Preeti is the first name of my mother, and Rang is the first name of my father. I used that as the name of the sanctuary because at a time when most parents were not sending their girls far, far away to engineering colleges, my parents did it. My parents had faith in me, and I was extremely grateful to them for that purpose, and I had always wanted to do something in the name of my parents. So PreetiRang was going to be the name of whatever venture I was going to do in this third phase of my life.
The tongue feels like a big cat tongue.
So this is Tommy. He is a male reject calf from the dairy industry. We persuaded a farmer to surrender him to us. He was dying. He had failure passive transfer of colostrum, severe pneumonia, amongst other things. He spent 10 days in UC Davis, in ICU, getting all kinds of treatments, a plasma transfusion. And now, 2.5 months later, this boy weighs almost 200 pounds and he's healthy and thriving.
We started volunteering here, actively, regularly, seeing what their needs were, how we could help. We built a relationship with Madhulika. She said she had space for one more cow, and the very next day, we were out at dairy farms seeking those who were just going to be rejected and thrown out. Thankfully, we found him. We knew once we got Tommy, we took on the 25-year responsibility, hopefully many more after that. It's going to be probably our best form of activism that we've ever committed to.
So one thing that was surprising for us was we immediately started getting a lot of visits from animal activists. They came here and visited the animals and had a very cathartic experience. Many times they're under a lot of stress, and they actually experience depression from some of the activities they undertake. A lot of animals are suffering, and there's a lot of it that they can do nothing about. As they fight the battles out on the front lines and protests and rescues, it's good for them to come here and recharge by actually getting to see and touch the animals that they're fighting so hard to save.
Here's water. Come here, baby.
There is a lot of darkness when it comes to activism. This is the only way that we see light. We go through slaughterhouses, we go through dairy farms, we go through auction yards to try to save these animals, and that's all that really matters. I am not against the oppressors per se, I am for the oppressed. So when I sit down and talk to a farmer, I treat them like a person just like you and I, so that way I can save a life.
You know, horses have just hair in their tail. You can braid a horse's tail, but you can't braid his tail because he has spine bones going all the way down.
And we have to have these sanctuaries because if we don't, there's no light in all of this darkness. We know Madhulika ji through yoga group. What yoga teaches us is to live in harmony. PreetiRang Sanctuary has taken it to a higher level. Living in harmony means not just with your spouse and with your family or your neighbors, but with every living being around us. That's a beautiful message I got from PreetiRang.
A lot of us fight about rights of females in the human race. Why stop at the human race? Here we are forcing them to lay eggs. Then for cows, Hindus consider cows sacred, a mom. If she's your mother, would you put her through artificial insemination year after year after year? And then she can produce maybe 6 to 7 babies. Each year, the baby is taken away from her at birth, and then she is lactating for the baby that was taken away from her while she's pregnant for the next year to produce milk. Who would treat their mothers like that? That's my question from all of us who claim that the cow is sacred. Then let us treat her sacredly.
Each visitor who comes here is inspiring to us because they come and they give love to the animals. They show their capacity to understand something beyond what is normally conditioned into us as people in this society. We've had people change from being meat eaters to vegans from one visit to the sanctuary and getting to know animals. If they can change and if they can get other people to change, that's what our mission is.
Most of them are de-beaked, ex-factory farmed hens. Their beaks will not hurt you.
Come here.
This life is so different than the life I led before. Trying to make people's software work, trying to make people's network come up and start working is very different from saving lives. And actually, it's not a one-way street. It's not that we are saving lives. They are saving our lives too. That unconditional love I get, the lesson of being present and the trust they have. Those are the lessons that I'm learning. So for me, it's a big progress, a big step in my spiritual path. And every day, I'm growing spiritually as I live with them.
I first came to PreetiRang Sanctuary around my 16th birthday. Prior to that, I had never met a cow or I'd never met a chicken or goats. So getting to hold one for the first time or getting to hug one was really nice, and it kind of just motivated me to stay vegan for the rest of my life because these are the animals that I'm saving. It's still just as magical as the first time that I came here, just getting to hug the cows. It's just the most amazing experience ever. And I really hope that everyone gets to experience this too, one time in their life or another.
We had a social media following on our Instagram account of about 80 people. And my daughter was running it and said that Ariana Grande had liked one of our posts. And we were very small at that time. We had visitors maybe once every 2 weeks, we get 1 or 2 people. She actually came out the next day in the morning, straight from the airport. They came here and she went through the basic tour that everybody goes through, interacted with all of the animals. And she said she had such a fantastic day, the best day of her life. And she posted lots of pictures. Overnight, we gained about 11,000 followers from our 80. We actually started doing 2 tours a day on the weekends. She was really just a big help to us.
In Sanskrit, there is a saying, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. All people on this Vasudev, on this earth, are one family. So we hope that in the future, more and more people will realize that, and that this world will actually start becoming one. We would like people to come here, visit our animals, get to experience animals other than cats and dogs, and realize that we are really all related. We feel the same way, pain and love and joy. So we want to bring this realization to the world.